All right, everybody. I hope you're all doing great. We are discussing IIM Code, and I have with me Shweta. Shweta is obviously one of the performers, part of postcard prep in the past, and Shweta is doing so well at IIM Code also. And she obviously got through IIM Code flying colors. Shweta, welcome. How are you doing? How's campus treating you?
Thank you, sir. Campus is treating me very well, and I'm doing great here. And it's, I think, one of the most beautiful campus in the IM fraternity. So I hope whoever has joined the call, few of you land up here and enjoy the beauty and the rigor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The most beautiful campus indeed, without any doubt. You'll see all the other top campuses. IIM Code ka campus is like mesmerizing. So I've also been there a couple of times, but really amazing campus. Shweta, today since all the most of the IMK call getters are here, we will discuss a little bit about your experience of IM Code. How did you prepare for IM Code in particular, and how was your interview experience?
Yeah, so see, firstly, code interviews are supposed to be like, as it is well known throughout, that it is going to be very stressful. It is going to be very stressful, but trust me, it's not the case, or it can be the case. So for me, code was very chill, but Lucknow was very stressful for me. So never go by the fact, or never have any previous perception in your mind and then go to the interview that, okay, they are going to grill me. It can be something that can be very chill for you, or it may be something very serious for someone else. So never think about it that, oh, okay, some XYZ person told me that yesterday his interview panel was very strict, so my panel is also going to be the same. Just flow with the interview. And so first I'll share my interview experience. So it started normally with the basic introduction, and afterwards then they asked me what are my hobbies. I explained them very well that like whatever I like, whatever what I they asked me that what is one thing about my hobby I don't dislike. So one of the major takeaways that you should know your hobby inside out. Whatever you do it with passion. So if you tell them that you don't know about your hobby, it's a very no sign for them. It's a red signal. After that, they asked me something about the share market, because the professor who took the interview, I think he's from finance. So they asked me about share market, but I'm not a finance geek. So I told him after one or two questions that, sir, I'm not very comfortable in finance, but I'll try to answer you. And then he was kind enough to switch back to some other topic, but he may not be kind enough. Like, you may not be as lucky as I was. So there may be chances that he's going to grill you on that why don't you know you'll be entering a B school, but you should be prepared about that as well. You should stay firm, and moreover, they're just checking your confidence level, nothing more than that. So you will sail through it if you are confident. But if you are going to lose it there, then the whole battle is lost. Because maybe the next question he's going to ask you will be something of your field or something you're interested in. But just because initially you lack the confidence, and hence your whole interview gets diluted. So don't go like that. And afterwards, they asked me about the Russia-Ukraine war that was going on. What was its impact on my industry? So I was from oil and gas. So there was major news going on around about oil and gas sector. So they asked me about that. And then I think my whole interview was just swirling around that only. So I would suggest you that if you guys have work experience, you should be well prepared about it. And also you should be very thorough with linking your work experience with the global trends that are going on, with something within India that is going on, or some recent news that has come up. Also, there can be very random questions about sustainability. So you should be, in general, you should be very aware about things. So that's all they are testing, nothing more than that. So I think my interview lasted for about 10 to 12 minutes, and that was all. So now I'll be giving you some general tips. So the first thing is that you should be thorough with your CV, as I've already mentioned, CV and your hobby, then with your work experience, then any current business news that is going on. I would suggest you to follow Mint or maybe ET, any newspaper that you like. No need to get into the details, but you should be aware about the basics. of whatever is there. And for example, currently Adani is in news. So if you're asked about Adani and you don't know about it, you should know the share price, you should know the number of enterprises that are there, how their share prices are going down. So like the basic news. If you're not aware about the nitty-gritties, it's fine. But if you're not able to tell the basics, then it's a red signal for them. Then you should know that why IMK or any interview you're sitting for, you should know why that college. And in that question, it should not be a very generic answer. It should be something special about that college linked to something special that you have in your profile. So it has to be a connection between both of you. Then you should know about the principles of IMK, the motto, the vision, the mission of IMK. Then also you should Google about the alumni of IMK. You should know that where they have reached, what have they done, how they inspire you. And the last thing in the general way I would say is that you should know your undergrad subjects, not all the subjects, but even if you have 2 to 3 years of work ex. So in IMK, I was lucky I was not asked, but in Shillong I was asked. So in general, you should know your undergrad subjects, if not all, at least 2 to 3 subjects. You should have command over them. And in other subjects also, you should know the basics at what were the topics in those subjects, just to have a positive note that just in case if you're randomly asked about anything, you should not go blank then. Next, coming about IMK specifically, so you should know about Kerala very well, that how many districts are there. In general, K interview focuses more on general awareness and topics of, you can say, society or civics, you can say general civics. So they may ask you. So one of my friends was asked about the ministers that are there, and she was not aware, and her whole interview went on that. So you should know the CMs of various states. At least you should know that. Then then they are very fond of about Kerala and Kozhikode in general because Vasco da Gama came here. So you should know about Vasco da Gama. When did he come? Then the cabinet ministers, how are they appointed? About the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, the president, parliament. These things, basics you should cover. And I think apart from this, you should just be confident enough in the recent 1 or 2 days, whatever news is there, you should know about it, nothing in detail. And also, if you don't know anything, you should not try to bluff much. If you know little bit, then you may extend 1 or 2 lines. But if you are not at all aware about it, you directly tell the person who's in front of you that, sir, sorry, sir, I'm not aware, but I would like to try. If given a chance, if he says so, okay, go ahead, you should try, otherwise you can leave it won't be negatively marked. But if you are just bluffing around with them, they are very experienced people and they are smart enough to know. So in that case, you're gone. Otherwise, I think you will be able to sail through it. And I think it's more about your preparation plus your luck. So if everything is in your favor, then you'll sail through, no problems at all. So
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, that's all
Very,
from my
very
end.
comprehensive, Shweta. I think the point, the number of elements you covered, इससे I think सारे colleges clear हो जाएंगे. थोड़ी थोड़ी सी बात IIM कोड के बारे में करते हैं. Shweta, you mentioned that your answer to why IIMK should not
Yeah,
be a generic one. So
yeah,
how can we make it a little specific? What are your pointers there? Something you can
yeah.
share as an insider, which can help
Mm.
the people prepare a little better.
Yeah. So, in general, if you see all the other campuses, they are located in the main cities, or you can say so. But IIM Kozhikode is something which is away from, if you see in general, North India specifically. So for me, that was a very important point. I told them that I want to see the diversity there. I've never experienced going out of my boundaries, pushing myself to some new place, new people. Language will be a barrier, food will be a barrier, but I want to get out of my comfort zone. So MBA is not only going to prepare me for my for the business culture or just the corporate culture, but it is going to help me go out of my way and my boundaries. So this was one of the major factors that I mentioned.
Correct. So I think the context was, Shweta, you're from Lucknow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she obviously mentioned that she wants to go away out of Lucknow and obviously explore the cultural and different diversity that she can at and obviously see South India, which is very very rich with the cultural heritage also. So I think that that's a very very important way of putting it, and it's very important to connect it with your story. So for example, if let's say you are somebody from let's say North India, you can certainly express that as a key element. I had done that in XLRI because I was from Jharkhand. I wanted to get out of Jharkhand when I mentioned the same answer at XLRI. Shweta, beyond that,
Yeah,
what do you think is special in terms of IIM Kuri code? What are some of the key elements that are there,
yeah,
which we can talk about? So talking about case-based methodology is, and
yeah.
stuff like that is pretty common across these schools, right?
Yes.
What are some of the other elements that one can talk about? अब कोई साउथ इंडिया से ही है तो वो क्या बोलेगा, मतलब ओवरऑल?
So overall, I feel that they can mention that after talking to a few alums, they got to know that there are various like industry visits that happen inside the campus. So there are specialists who come inside, and they try to give you insight about how actually the industry works, which is I think not present across Indore, or if you see SP Gen, it is not very prevalent. So this can be one of the major insights that can be there. And also the student run bodies are very like they give you a lot of freedom to explore. So a lot of new societies, etc., started by students themselves. So recently there is one new yoga session being started by students. So this is something that is not possible in other colleges, because you're not given the freedom to explore by yourself. So this is one of the major things that I.
Got it. Got it. So I think broadly, and I'm sure Shweta, and you'll agree with me. While
Yeah,
you will all do a lot of website research, understanding the
yeah,
principles,
yeah,
the motto of the school, the vision, mission, understanding the director's message, and key elements like that. I'm sure there are some elements that will come up from there also, which you can connect from with your story and project it that way.
yeah. Yeah, and also I believe that it is more about connecting your story to something that you find, even if it's a very general thing. But if you are connecting it well to your story, it is going to be a good combination. But if you know something specific, they'll get to know that okay, some alum might have told them, but they don't relate it to themselves. They're just telling for the sake of telling.
Perfect. Perfect. That makes sense. I think beyond that, to summarize, some of the key pointers which Shweta mentioned is that do a good, thorough research of the website. She's added some key elements that you should, certainly do. Again, general affairs, current affairs. How is it related to your work experience if you are working somewhere? Maintaining your calm and confidence and not bluffing. So I think that is something which I take away from the key pointers which Shweta mentioned. I'll also briefly add my interview experience at IIM Code, which was also a good experience, I would say, not so good. But I was asked 7 questions. I could answer only 3 questions. तो 7 क्वेश्चंस में से 3 क्वेश्चन आंसर करा था और 4 क्वेश्चन में मतलब इनिशियल टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ के बाद ऑलमोस्ट 4 क्वेश्चंस ऐसे थे विच आई डिड नॉट आंसर दैट वेल. सो उसके बाद फिर फाइनली लास्ट में 1-2 क्वेश्चन आए थे जो मैंने आंसर किया था. बीच में जो 4 क्वेश्चंस थे बिल्कुल कंसेक्यूटिवली आई वाज सेइंग दैट सर आई डोंट नो, आई विल गो बैक एंड look at it. Happened like 4 times in a row. Imagine the amount of pressure that one gets into. अगर 4 क्वेश्चन आपने आंसर नहीं करे हैं, आपका बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉल है, तो brings you into a lot of pressure. Somehow that day I was not under pressure. I was smiling all through. ठीक है, मैं बहुत ही आराम से था. वो 4 क्वेश्चन नहीं आंसर करने के बाद भी I would in so I think this is something which I call luck, because primarily luck is not something which will give you an answer all of a sudden. How do you manage yourself in a scenario like that becomes important. I believe that my selection was due to that. वो 4 क्वेश्चंस के अंदर भी I was very composed. I was not able to answer, but I was not under stress. और जो लास्ट में फिर कुछ क्वेश्चंस आए, I was able to answer them very confidently. तो वो जो 4 क्वेश्चंस था उनका बहुत ज्यादा यू नो हैड नॉट इम्पैक्टेड माय कॉन्फिडेंस एज सच, बहुत ज्यादा. तो बाकी के जो लास्ट क्वेश्चंस थे वो भी मैंने बड़े आराम से और प्रॉपरली आंसर किया था. तो आई थिंक 7 में से 3 क्वेश्चन आंसर करके भी अगर कोई सिलेक्ट हो सकता है, तो यहाँ पे जितने लोग बैठे हैं वो सब सिलेक्ट हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, यू हैव टू ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर के इट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट टू नो एवरीथिंग, बट वॉट यू शुड नो दैट वेल. ठीक है, जितना आपको आता है वो आपको अच्छे से आता है, और उसको आप बहुत प्रॉपरली स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में कम्युनिकेट कर पाते हो. दैट इज समथिंग विच इज गोइंग टू मेक और ब्रेक. लास्ट क्वेश्चन तक ट्राई करते रहना है. लास्ट क्वेश्चन तक वी हैव टू बी persistent, saying that I can do this. In the last question also मैं लास्ट ball पे 6 मार के I'll make my victory to the B school. So I hope this makes sense to all of you. In case you guys have any questions, you can put it in the chat. Shweta, tell us a little bit about campus in terms of the fun aspects also.
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Sure. So initially, so like I think we were the lucky batch to be on the campus because the previous batch was online completely. So when you come to the campus, so initially there is Rubaru, so there are section boards that happen. And that is something. So before that, also there is a 5 to 7 day orientation, which you will be divided into random groups of like 10 groups will be there. So you'll be interacting with different people. After that, you'll have sections that will be there. You'll have section wars. So that is, I think that is one of the most amazing weeks initially, and you bond a lot with people because you are competing against the other section. You'll have dance, drama, everything you can think of. Like that one week is very well packed, and I think most of you would not have stayed awake till like 4 a.m. in the morning. But when you come here, you will be like, oh, 4 a.m. is something very normal. You like sleep at 4, you get up at 8 again to practice. So I think that you won't even feel the rigor, and I think that is something that prepares you forward to other things. Then something that is very specific to Kerala is the Onam festival that is there. It is not celebrated in any of the campuses, I think, that are there in the North India. So, yeah, that is there. Then there are, like, I think every 1.5 month, there is the cultural committee that is there. Something or the other gets organized here very frequently. So that is, so I think this is there. And then SIP comes. So even during SIP, I believe that I heard that it is going to be very toxic. बहुत मुश्किल होता है पढ़ना, ये होता है, वो होता है, summer interns में. But I think over here the culture was very good because there was nothing, like everybody was helpful towards the other person. And I, more importantly, it is it is not a zero sum game, I believe. And I think people here understand that. And I think when you come to a campus like this, you feel that belongingness comes there. So I think that is something the most important thing. And also this place is like amazing. There are a lot of beaches around. So like every weekend you'll be going to a new beach. Like I think in my whole life I've never been to so many beaches and I'll never go. So this is something very unique here. Like, and also like everybody is very sweet and good. So you won't face any problem. And even for North Indians, like you will have some kind of reservations at the food, all that, this and that. It won't be there. Trust me, it is, the journey is going to be amazing. You just have to believe in the next 1 month that is going to come to you. Give your best and leave the rest. So that's all.
Perfect. So I think I hope that gives a little bit of motivation. As far as I'm Kurikul is concerned, I think Adarsh primarily about the program, how's the course, LSM program, etc., etc. Shweta, anything on the LSM program if you could share?
Yeah, yeah. Sure. So, LSM program runs similar to the PGP main program. There is not much difference. The only difference is that they have a separate section and their course outline is a little different from us. But the subjects that we cover in first semester, they'll cover in second semester. So it's more or less similar. And the best part is that the placements are common for both of us. So I think it won't be like there is no major difference. All activities are common. Everything is more or less common. And moreover, it is a very specialized section and the students are less. So in that way, like those guys get special attention, I would say, the finance and the LSM section. So I think overall it's a very great course to get into.
Perfect. So I hope that answers. Shweta, Lokesh says only VAT and PI. I think in your case also it was VAT and PI, right?
No, in my case, that was not there, just PI was there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think so last time I think it was only PI. Back in
Yes,
time,
yes.
when I had given K, there was GD also. It was GD,
Oh,
and there was a VAT also. There was a PI also. So I
oh,
think
we were the
काफी चीज.
lucky ones. We were the lucky ones.
So I think most of us have practiced VATs also. So should not be a problem that way. I think we broadly covered the key aspects here. I hope it's useful to all the people who are here. Shweta, thank you so much for
Yeah. Thank you,
joining in.
sir.
Right, Lokesh is saying also VAT is 25 minutes. Any limits on words? Primarily, Lokesh, if not mentioned explicitly, there is no limit on words. टाइम लिमिट ही होता है. आपको उस टाइम लिमिट में यू हैव टू एक्सप्रेस योरसेल्फ वेल. बहुत ज्यादा लिखने की कोशिश नहीं करना है. जो आप लिखो उसका कंटेंट बहुत प्रॉपर होना चाहिए, स्ट्रक्चर अच्छा होना चाहिए. That's the only thing you should take care. And this is common across the across the B schools जहाँ भी वैट होता है, तो वहाँ पे वर्ड लिमिट वो जनरली मेंशन नहीं करते हैं, टाइम लिमिट मेंशन करते हैं. उस टाइम लिमिट में अगर आपका प्रैक्टिस अच्छा है तो आप यू कैन राइट इट वेल, राइट. सो फोकस ऑन कंटेंट क्वालिटी, लेस ऑन क्वांटिटी. ज्यादा लिखने के चक्कर में अगर आप क्वालिटी कॉम्प्रोमाइज करोगे, दैट्स अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. Okay, I hope that helps. Brilliant, Shweta. Thank you so much. Any parting thoughts before we let these amazing people go?
Yeah, so again, I would like to repeat that it's like you don't have everything in your hand. The only thing you have is just preparing well. And apart from this, everything you can leave the rest. So it is more or less, it depends on the day. You need to be calm enough. And also, if you don't know anything, just be polite. And as Sir mentioned, just be polite and tell them that I don't know, I'll go and check back definitely. And apart
Absolutely,
from that, don't lose your confidence. Like,
absolutely.
that's it.
Perfect. So I think one more thing I will add, one
All
thing
the
that I
best,
have.
everyone. Yeah,
Thank you,
sure.
Shweta. Thank you. So I think guys, one more thing that I'd want to add is बहुत सारे IIM कोड के इंटरव्यू में what I have seen is कि कई बार जब वो आपको स्ट्रेस देना शुरू करते हैं तो लोग थोड़े से ज्यादा डिफेंसिव हो जाते हैं, कभी कभी थोड़े ऑफेंसिव भी हो जाते हैं. ठीक है. सो दैट इज समथिंग विच यू कांट अफोर्ड टू डू. बिल्कुल मत करना. अगर आप आपको आंसर नहीं आ रहा है, प्रॉपरली स्माइल कर रहे हो, बहुत अच्छी बात है. कई बार वो आपके साथ आर्ग्यूमेंट भी करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो आप बहुत ही पोलाइटली उसको हैंडल करना. अगर आप आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव हो रहे हो और उसके अंदर इफ इट गेट्स ऑफेंसिव by any way, no matter what is your percentile, you will get rejected for sure. Okay, so don't do that. आई एम कोडी कोड के इंटरव्यू में कई बार होता है और ये जो स्ट्रेसफुल वाला एंगल है, ये मेरे साथ भी थोड़ा बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल हुआ था, बिकॉज मैं 4 क्वेश्चन अगर आंसर नहीं करूँ तो ऐसे भी थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेस बिल्ड होता है. बट कीप योर सेल्फ काम. ठीक है. अगर आप वेग आंसर्स नहीं करोगे तो स्ट्रेसफुल होने के चांसेस कम है. आई एम कोडी कोड जो जनरल फीडबैक रहता है वो स्ट्रेसफुल है, बट जैसा श्वेता ने बोला, जरूरी नहीं है कि श्वेता कि तुम्हारा भी स्ट्रेसफुल होगा. अगर तुम आंसर्स टू द पॉइंट कर रहे हो, क्लैरिटी से एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हो चीजों को, तो स्ट्रेसफुल होने के चांसेस कम है. वेग आंसर्स करोगे तो डेफिनेटली आई एम कोडी कोड स्ट्रेसफुल होने वाला है. दैट इज फॉर श्योर. 7 आउट ऑफ 10 टाइम्स, 6 आउट ऑफ 10 टाइम्स स्ट्रेसफुल इंटरव्यूज होते हैं जब हम वेग आंसर्स करते हैं. ठीक है. तो वो बहुत ध्यान से, और डोंट बी ऑफेंसिव एट ऑल. यहाँ पे ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है, जो आर्ग्यूमेंट करते करते हम लोग हम डिफेंड नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो हम कभी कभी ऑफेंसिव हो जाते हैं. ठीक है. तो वो नहीं करना है. बी रेस्पेक्टफुल. जो लोग आपके इंटरव्यूज कर रहे हैं वो बहुत लर्नेड लोग हैं. ठीक है. देयर आर पीपल जो वो रेस्पेक्ट डिजर्व करते हैं. ठीक है. तो गिव देम दैट रिस्पेक्ट. ठीक है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि उनके सामने हमारा लेवल 0 ही है. ठीक है. सो वो अपने 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 अंदर वो ह्यूमिलिटी लेके चलना है कि मैं 0 हूँ. ठीक है. और ये जो सामने वाला बैठा है ये 100 है. ठीक है. तो वो क्लैरिटी अपने मन में होनी चाहिए, तो वो ह्यूमिलिटी अपने आप आ जाएगी. ठीक है. सो दैट इज समथिंग विच यू शुड टेक केयर. एंड ऑल द बेस्ट गाइस. आई होप इट हेल्प्स. आई एम श्योर सब लोग फोड़ देंगे. ठीक है. लाइक लास्ट ईयर ऑल्सो. थैंक यू सो मच श्वेता फॉर ज्वाइनिंग इन. वेरी वेरी
Thank you,
हेल्पफुल.
sir. All the best,
एंड
everyone. Kuch
thank
doubt
you.
ho to you can just ping me. Not a
Absolutely.
problem.
So, reach out to any of us if in case you all have any difficulties. And Shweta, hoping to send as many people to your campus as possible.
Yes, yes. I'm waiting for them.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Take
Okay.
care. Bye, Shweta. Bye bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.